I probably could have mowed today. I didn't really have to mow today, but I probably could have mowed today. I'll mow tomorrow. That's what I'll do. I'll mow tomorrow. Are you like on a really strict mowing schedule? I used to like count the days. Every 3 days, then another 3 days, maybe every 3 days, then every 4, and then 3, and then 4. And one time I was like hardcore about every other day. I am long past that now. I get to mowing when I feel like it. Like this past Sunday, I was sitting around, I was kind of going stir crazy in the house. It was really hot. Humidity was through the roof. Air temperatures weren't that bad, but the humidity was through the roof. We've had so much rain that all the transpiration, I think that word is correct, from all the grass and the foliage and the brush and the trees, everything is just emitting so much moisture that even though the air temperature wasn't that bad, it was so hot and steamy. But I didn't care. I just wanted to get out of the house. I wanted to feel like I accomplished something. So I ran out and mowed and sweat my butt off. And I sprayed the crack weeds on the street. If you've got weeds in the cracks in front of your house along the street, either take a weed eater to them or kill those things. And then I took a little bit of water, just kind of gave some of my plants a bath. I'll show you which ones here in a second. Because they need a little bit more of a sprinkle sometimes during the day, even though they don't need to be irrigated, they just need a cool off. But anyway, I mowed this past Sunday. And I probably on Sunday said, I'm going to mow again on Wednesday. Today's Wednesday. And then I said, you know what, I can't mow today. And here's why I cannot mow, and many of you will probably relate to this, because it is Wednesday. Tomorrow, the day after Wednesday, is Thursday. And then the day after Thursday is Friday, the 4th of July. So how many of you are trying to time out your last mow before the holiday to July 3rd? That way everything looks so fresh and so clean and crisp for the 4th and then the 5th. And then maybe you do something with it on the 6th. Well, that's why I'm waiting until tomorrow. Not to mention, I'm exhausted today. I have slept on the couch the last 2 nights. And the reason why I've slept on the couch the last 2 nights is because my wife, just like I like projects, so I can't really say much to her when she comes to me and says, hey, I've got this idea for a project. It's not like I can say, I don't quite agree with that, because she has seen me throw literally tons of sand on the lawn and do lots of crazy stuff outside of the house. So if she wants to do something inside, hey, she's got to get her creativity and that urge and need to be released as well. So I said, do it. Well, she wanted to turn one of the kids' bedroom walls into board and batten. That was great. It looks good. I'm going to give her that. It really does look good. But we're on wall number 3 now, and it happens to be in our bedroom. So our bedroom is a complete and utter disaster. The bed's all out of whack. It smells like paint. It's really messy, so I said, I can't sleep in here. It's just not cozy. So I've slept on the couch the last couple nights, and I don't sleep well on the couch. So I didn't want to mow today. But it is the first part of July. Many of you probably wondering, when's the dude going to get the lawn tips? Come on. We can have like regular conversation here besides just getting to lawn tips. But I did do a poll yesterday. Thank you for those of you that gave me feedback and voted. Seemed like the 2 things were, hey, let's get some seasonal tips. And it seems like lots of folks really enjoying these walk and talks. So if you haven't bought into the walk and talk yet, I think you'll find that the walk and talks are jam-packed full of tips, seasonal and non-seasonal. And so we're going to kind of marry those 2 things together. But seasonally, right now, it is summer. Strangely, from what I've seen across the country, it doesn't feel like summer for a lot of folks. 1, the temperatures are pretty cool. And 2, we've had a lot of rain. Tons of rain. It actually looks like it might kind of rain right now. but it's not. We do have more in the forecast this weekend, but we just had a bunch of rain. So cool temperatures and rain. So typically this time of year, I would be telling you to do, or suggesting. I can't tell you to do anything. I can only suggest things. And if you feel like those things are right for you, you do them. If not, you go find some other advice. But usually this time of year, I would tell or suggest to do a certain set of things. But in today's video, those things are going to be a little bit different just based off of the weather conditions right now in July. But I'm finding a bunch of these things. You ever see these around your yard? That is, last time I talked about these, I couldn't for the life of me remember the name of the plant that puts this seed off. And I just so happened to remember it this time. This is a thistle seed. Thistle plants, I mean, they are like, the leaves are like super sharp and pointy, and if you grab that sucker, it's gonna hurt your hands. But they really do put off a kind of pretty purple ball, but then they flush out in all these seed heads, and they just go everywhere. They will be all over the place in the wind. This year, though, they are not as bad as years past because I've been going behind my house on the other side of the brush with my shovel, and I have been crushing the plants to the ground before they have time to let all their seeds float into my yard. But, okay. Oh, when's this dude gonna get to lawn tips? You're saying it again. I can hear you. I can hear you. Here's a lawn tip for you. This time of year, especially if you see any kind of crabgrass or other grassy type weed. These are not grassy type weeds, but I just cannot resist picking them. If you see any grassy type weed that looks like it might be going to seed, either pick that thing or pull it, especially crabgrass, because if those types of grassy weeds go to seed and they drop those suckers, that's when a pre-emergent becomes even more important, and you may, the big keyword being may, have a problem in the future. But I just cannot help myself. Every evening I kind of mosey around the yard and I check the plants, and I'll come out, and if I see a weed, I will pick it. That's why it, that's why it always kind of cracks me up when people on any video I've ever done about weed killers talks about that I'm poisoning my family and my pets. We're all going to be sick and die in the future from herbicides. Gosh, I would say that I've probably picked 99.99% of the weeds in my lawn and used an herbicide on that 0.01%. So this time of year, pick weeds. Don't let them go to seed. Oddly enough, I still have a lot of cool season weeds in my yard. This time of year, they are typically scorched by summer heat, but it has been so cool for the most part that there are still a lot of them hanging around. In that cool, really wet weather, spring in general really has this front yard on the north side of the house. Since it is a north-facing slope, it really has it pretty darn far behind for the first part of July. This Bermuda grass just did not get going in the spring like it usually does. And then all the rain really kind of matted down the dormant stuff when it was still brown and had not come out of dormancy and started greening up. And that just kind of, even after I scalped, it kind of just kept the soil from warming up very quickly, and just so far behind up here from where I typically am. And not to mention this being a north-facing slope. Have you ever wondered why the brand of clothes or what north face means? What it means is in the winter, it sees hardly any sun at all. So when there is snow or winter precipitation, the north-facing slopes are always the last of the areas to melt off. And this year we had a fair amount of snow and ice and below freezing temperatures, not to mention below zero temperatures. And I can't help but wonder if this front north-facing slope just really kind of struggled coming out of dormancy from a much more harsh winter on this Bermuda grass. Yes, it can make it through the winter, but when it gets to a certain point, it's not built for that. Now, it made it through it, yeah, but it is certainly behind. Speaking of behind, some of my plants that I planted towards the first part of June, for the most part, everything is doing well, but there are a couple that are behind, and I'm going to show you those, and this would be another summer tip, especially for you people that are interested in gardening or flower beds or things like that. Shockingly enough, folks, if you're here for just grass, there are people out there who ask me to talk more about the plants, and that couldn't make my heart happier. So full to hear that. I'm serious though. I get so bored just talking about only grass, because the plants, I'm telling you, that's what makes the grass pop. And if you ain't playing that game, you're getting left behind. It kind of boggles my mind how so many people, what's the polite way to say this? I want to say get off. Perhaps mildly inappropriate. Get over it. Get off over some of these lawn care YouTube channels where, sure, they got nice grass, but the rest of their lawn is boring as hell. I mean, what? That's so like underwhelming and unimpressive. Yet people still, yeah, I know, ooh and ah over that stuff. But here's a summer tip for you. So I bought these cute little umbrellas, like my wife says. Oh, those are so cute. Cute's probably not a word that I would use for them, but maybe that's the best word. So what happened here is I bought a couple different varieties of ajuga here. This is Bronze Beauty, and back yonder, that's an Arkansas word, over yonder is another variety called Burgundy Glow. So here we've got some more Bronze Beauty, some Burgundy Glow. Well, this side over here stays more shaded all day long. This side over here, not so much. And all of these ajugas were kept in heavy, heavy shade at the nursery. So they're going to need some time to adapt. And I did not really account for that. So while we were gone at the College World Series in Omaha, it got hot and it got sunny, and two of them just took a beating. That one there and that one there. So I'm kind of in the middle of an experiment here. My brain is telling me just go get two more, Travis, replace those and be done with it. But for experiment purposes, I kind of want to just see what happens. I kind of want to see if they will come back, and I think they will. But these little umbrellas are helping those in particular stay shaded longer in the afternoon, so they're just not getting beat up. You could tell the difference. See, shaded, look at these. The shaded ones have a much darker, richer color, where these here, you could tell a little leaf tip, maybe browning, not so much burning or crisping yet, but these are in full sun. Now, ajuga likes shade. It likes partial shade, partial sun, and it can even grow in full sun, but it's going to need to adapt. Going from that heavy shade at the nursery straight into full sun is really making it a challenge, but I want to see what happens. I'm not going to freak out and rush out to fix something that's not quite broken yet. Everything is still alive, so we're just going to let things ride and see what happens. And these are the ones that I'm coming out in the afternoon, especially on a really, really hot, sunny day, and I'm just taking a hand can and just lightly showering them, not irrigating them down at the roots, just giving them a cool off, little evaporational cooling, just like when we sweat, when we're exercising, we sweat. That sweat on our skin helps us cool off. Plants can do the same thing. I'm learning a lot about the plants from two YouTube channels in particular. One, HortTube with Jim Putnam. Highly recommend that you go check that out if you are interested in plants at all. And two, S&K Greenhouse. I did put those in order of my favorite to second favorite. They are both fantastic. Both give you a little bit different information and a little bit style, but I love them both. Go watch them. And Jim was talking about that evaporational cooling the other day, very similar to if you were to syringe your lawn in the summer. There's another summer lawn tip for you. I don't need to do it right now because we've had a lot of rain, but if you are in a drought and you have been irrigating, getting 1 inch to 1.5 inches of water a week, sometimes that can't be enough. Sometimes all your grass needs is you to go out with a hose or a sprinkler and just give it a light misting to cool those grass blades off. A little evaporational cooling. It's called syringing, just like on a golf course, they'll syringe the greens, particularly bent grass greens down in the south, which is a cool season grass, not made for that. They will syringe those in the south to cool them off. And a lot of times they'll put fans on those greens where there's poor airflow, just to make sure they make it through the summer. So syringing, if you're not getting rain, and you're still watering and things are starting to crisp up or look a little dehydrated, go out in the heat of the day. Give it a light cooling off, a light mist. Sure, the morning time is the best time to water. It's the most ideal. Evening time, early in the evening if you can, but like I responded to a comment earlier today, the best time to water is really the time that you have. When you have time, if the lawn needs it, you water. That's always the best. Okay, another thing. It's about time for fertilizer. And normally this time of year, if it's super, super hot and the lawn doesn't look like it really needs it, then I might hold off in July and August. But I have not put fertilizer down on this yard since May. Wait a second. Yes, holy smokes, since May. This has not been fertilized since May. But you are starting to see some darker green spots, some more lime green spots. So it's not necessarily a very uniform green color. Some people, that is really important to them. To me, break an ankle. That is not that important. I care most about, is it thick and relatively weed-free? The color, not on my priority list very high, but when it looks like it starts to need to be fertilized, I will give it some more. I use 2000 Stay Green ammonium sulfate fertilizer, and I typically try to get one down in May, June, July, and then September. But I have just continued to dwindle those back over the year and just look at it with my eyes. This right here where the dog peed, that shows me this is fertilized enough. I don't need any fertilizer there, but you could tell where the color in other spots is starting to fade. But I'm happy with the color right now. So since I am happy with the color right now, and I am happy with the growth rate, it's not just growing crazy right now to where I have to water or mow every other day. I'm happy with it right now. So I'm not going to come out and put fertilizer down just to change the color a little bit, which in turn will make it grow faster with the nitrogen. And then I'm going to have to increase my mowing frequency. I'm kind of in a good spot. So I'm going to wait until probably the next decent chance of rain comes so I can get the fertilizer watered in, not have to run the hoses and sprinklers. And I'm not going to rush to fertilize right now just because it's the first part of July. Maybe you need to. Right now, I don't. But what you do need to do is, if you haven't yet this year, look at this. Ooh, that is rotary mowed. Somewhere around, I don't know, I've got dips and low spots and high spots. I would say on average we're mowing somewhere around 1.5 inches right now, but it's looking really good. And part of that is I just got my mower blade sharpened, and I'm very bad at this, folks. It's the first time I've sharpened it this year, and the first time I've sharpened it in more than a year. You would think for something that's so easy to do and actually makes a pretty big difference that I would do it more often, but it's one thing I'm not on top of. So do as I suggest, not as I do, because I should be sharpening it more often. But this time of year, you want to make sure you've got a nice sharp mowing blade, especially as things are thickening up. Gives you a cleaner cut, doesn't tear the edges or the tips. Looks like we've got maybe a little bit in there, but for rotary mowing, that's good, folks. A real mower that's going to cut it like scissors will obviously cut it a lot cleaner, but for rotary mowing, it's looking pretty sharp. And so that's just going to create a healthier grass overall, less fraying, less disease resistant. Just, you know, it's just treating your grass kindly. Here's another good spot. Everybody, we all know where our good spots in the yard are, right? But see that? I mean, that is thick. There's a good spot. You'll see the bad spot too. I'm not scared to show you. We have had, because of all the moisture and the rain and the morning dew and humidity and all the other environmental conditions that are right for this, we have had a good amount of fungus or disease or dollar spot here. You could tell, you know, once it dries out, the green's going to start filling that back in. It's going to take all this over. No need to panic or go panic purchase and buy something. Oh, see, I picked another weed. Here's well, I missed that one. That's a little spurge. Spurge is bad this time of year. When it gets hot, spurge is coming out. But all that dollar spot, it looks like to me, some more here, will fix itself if I just make sure it's watered correctly, mow it frequently, feed it if it needs it, because believe it or not, your feeding, whether you have too much nitrogen or too little, all plays into those things. So you can have an increase in disease if you're feeding the lawn improperly. But the moral to the story is, you don't always have to worry about fixing it. It's nature, folks. These things will fix themselves for you 99% of the time. Like this. Part of me, my brain, wants to do something about it, but my common sense says, you know what? Plants have been put in the ground and survived for a very long time before we ever did anything to them. Let them fix themselves. A lot of yellowing here from a lot of the rain we've had. Lots. It's so hard not to come in here and just cut all this back and clean it up. But look at all the new growth coming through. They know how to survive. They're resilient. Lots of new growth coming through, but what I will come in here and do pretty soon is Chelsea chop these. Something new I learned. I love learning new things when it comes to this stuff. Chelsea chopping. These are cat's meow cat mint. And they have their initial bloom early in the season. And then all these purple blooms, they get heavy and they start falling over. And you start getting the centers to kind of become visible like a bowl. Ooh, was that a lizard or a frog? Well, the weight of the flowers is causing those to droop a little bit. So what I need to come in and do is I need to come in and cut off about 1/3 or 1/2 of each of these to tidy them up. They'll kind of grow back up and get more dense and not so droopy. And I'll probably do that pretty soon, but I'm really trying to just let things be. My experience tells me if you do that, it's probably going to work out all right. And I did just get some new, I got some new scissors, some multi-purpose scissors that are for gardening and other things that I can use to Chelsea chop those and to cut back anything else I need to do. But this time of year, according to Jim Putnam is not the time of year to be doing a lot of pruning, to do anything that's going to like encourage new growth on plants, because it's hot, can tend to be dry. That's just putting too much stress on the plants. But deadheading is a different story, and that's why I will probably Chelsea chop those to deadhead those spent flowers back. And I bought these little Fiskars multi-purpose scissors that I can use for more than just plants. We're right back where we started, and that's probably more than you bargained for. Watch it all, watch half of it, watch very little at all. I don't care. I love coming on here. I love visiting with you. I feel like we're having a conversation. It makes me feel better. It's a stress relief, just much like lawn care is for me. So I appreciate you joining me. I am very appreciative of all of your support and your comments and you following this channel for almost 6 years now. It's because of you that Budget Lawns has lived on this long. Let's see if we can make it another 6. I'll see you next time.